that happened the last time we won a trophy, Stel. What can you tell us, Stel, in your words, about the whole Jermaine Defoe situation? What happened? What's being alleged? And how much trouble are Tottenham Hotspur in?
I think that this is a stick that people just want to beat us with and compare it to what Everton, City and Chelsea have done, right?
Yeah.
So from my understanding, Man City, we don't even know what is going on. There's so many charges. It's so muddy that we're just assuming they're going to be guilty because there's so much that's been thrown at them.
Yeah.
In regards to Chelsea, they've already breached transfer rules in the past and manipulated their academy, which is why they got a 1-year transfer ban when Lampard was manager the first time round. So this isn't anything new what Chelsea have done. As for Everton, it's because that they were registering such a loss that they broke the sustainability rules of the financials, the envelope in which they must work in. So they've registered something like £300 million worth of losses over the last 3, 4, 5 years, however long it is.
Yeah.
So that's why they've been fined. Why it's a bit harsh on them is because they were working with the Premier League, and the Premier League were working alongside them, and it still happened, and they've been punished like this. So that's nothing compared to what Spurs have done. What we've done is something 15 years ago, which was looked at and brushed to one side, has now resurfaced because apparently there's new evidence that's come to light conveniently.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if
16 years later, there's some new evidence. Yeah.
16 years later, I wonder who found that and planted it or handed it in. I wouldn't be surprised if it was our friends from West London. But it's to do with an agent that wasn't licensed. So it's not that we paid an incorrect amount. It wasn't that we broke any financial rules. It wasn't linked to anything financial like Everton, Chelsea, and City. Ours is we use somebody you're not allowed to use. It's a bit like Apple. Your phone breaks, you've got to go to an authorized Apple reseller. And we've gone to some guy in a market store and we've been cool. That's kind of
I love that.
This is the best analogy I've ever heard.
What we've done isn't that serious. We've just gone to like one of those knockoff little corner shops that sort your mobile phone out. Brilliant. Love it.
20 quid done.
Yeah, we've said, can you fix the phone? Can you sort out this transfer? Yeah, we can. So I think if it's found that we are guilty of this and the club were aware that they used an unlicensed agent, although the rules have changed quite a lot. So then I would hope that we get a slap on the wrist and a fine, because we need to be punished as per the rules back then, not what the rules are now.
Right.
And for me, this isn't, if it's found that the agent took payments he wasn't allowed to take, or if there's some kind of financial involved in this, then I think there's actually scope for a bigger charge against us, maybe points as well. But let's be honest, guys. I reckon most clubs have done something like this or more. And I just think that we're just we are the best club in the Premier League to have a news story on because of the banter levels of our club and the way rival fans can't wait to jump on it. So I'm not that worried about it, if I'm honest with you, but I'm not saying that we should just forget about it because they are looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, Haz, I'll come to you. And just quickly, I'd love to think that Donna Cullen talks like this. I would love to think that Donna Cullen is in the boardroom going, one, Daniel, we need to buy some players. I'd love to think of that. A big up. Good evening, Graham. Graham, my point, your next point is what I was going to bring up with Haz. Haz, this was 15, 16 years ago. Like Stella alluded to there, you could probably, if you wanted to, find something from every club. How far do the Premier League go back? Who is in charge of trying to find these things? And at what point does this start getting really, really silly?
Well, I just think it's hot topic at the moment. And that's the issue. Everything going on with Everton, who's just been docked 10 points. We know that something's looming with Manchester City, but then again, we know that's going to take time because of the amount of charges apparently against them, 114, I believe. There's a lot of people talking about, well, why hasn't anyone done anything about that. I think the amount of charges against them at the moment, you'd certainly imagine that's going to take a very long time to put a case together. So that's the reason why that's
especially as
taking
they're
long time.
fighting it, right? Like Everton said, "Yeah, we're sorry, we're naughty." Man City again. What do you mean? We're innocent. We're fighting.
We're innocent. But also Manchester City's got a lot more to lose. They've won multiple cups. They've won the league, etc., etc. But look, I just think, like I said earlier on, it's hot topic at the moment. They're looking back and thinking, right, who's been in trouble? You know, let's go back 20 years. Who's been in trouble with the FA? Who's, you know, breached the rules and stuff? Oh, Tottenham. Tottenham make good news. Let's dig something out on Tottenham. Right, they've used an unlicensed agent to put the deal through. Right, let's resurface that because it's going to make good news. Everything that's going on with Everton at the moment, everything that's going on with Manchester City and maybe imminently with Chelsea, you know, throw Spurs into the mix as well. Well, you got weeks and weeks worth of news there, in my opinion. But my understanding is that Tottenham at the time used an unlicensed agent. I think his name was, I've been looking at it as well, Mitchell.
Is it Portsmouth that used an unlicensed agent or Spurs? I'm not clear on this myself, to be honest with you.
So basically, Mitchell was a former West Ham and Tottenham player, apparently, and he was the central figure in the move. But I believe we used him in that. I think because we bought him from Portsmouth, obviously. I think it was more Portsmouth than us, but we didn't do our due diligence with regards to it. So obviously, when we authorized the transaction, a portion of that money would have went to that agent as well, who was unlicensed. So whether we thought it at the time, whether Levy thought it at the time and said, "Look, we didn't know," etc., and it was all settled or anything like that, I don't know. But obviously, like you said, you made a really good point, Sava. You know, do we try Spurs according to today's rules, or do we try Spurs according to then rules? Because for me, I think according to the rules back then, they've looked at it and they thought, all right, nothing to answer for, fine. But now the rules have changed 15 years down the line or whatever, right? Oh, actually, they've breached this code. Let's have a look at that. Let's have a look what else they've done. Let's have a look at the other deals that have gone through under certain managers. You know, for me, I just think it opens a whole can of worms. Like you said, I think a lot of clubs have done this, but a lot of other clubs don't get the same exposure as Tottenham do, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean,
if you was to go around and say, oh, Sheffield United used whatever, it's just like, all right, no big deal, Sheffield United. Spurs done it, right? Tottenham Hotspur, Daniel Levy, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Perchy. I mean, isn't the problem here that what we tend to do as football fans is we all lump all of these things in together. So straight away, we were actually in the car when the news broke about Everton being deducted 10 points, and straight away it was funny how the conversation, Perchy, wasn't really about Everton. It was almost like Everton have been banned. Hang on, what about City? And what City did, or allegedly have done, is very different to what Chelsea are saying they've done, is very different to what happened to Everton, is very different to what happened with Jermaine Defoe and that side. Are we in danger here now of just everybody is just trying to get every other club kind of like shamed and banned, and everyone wants everyone to be relegated to like the Isthmian Premier League and all this? Are we in danger of this getting a little bit out of control or a lot out of control?
Oh no, massively. I mean, it's become like, rival fans are, well, this is Spurs now, so look, you got the West Ham lot, the Arsenal guy, get Spurs relegated for this. I mean, can I just say what I will say?
We might win the league.
It just I don't know how we'll struggle with playoffs.
But might get rid of Levy.
The one thing for me, it just shows how crap international football is this is more important. We care more about the Jermaine Defoe saga going on about an unlicensed thing over England playing in international tournament. It just sums it up. This is a bigger news story than us drawing to Macedonia. I mean, it sums up. I just find what's happening now, and what's happening is if Spurs get done for this, it does open a can of worms. And you're right. I think the key bit here is all it does is then Spurs go, do you know what? Let's just find something on Arsenal. They've done something wrong down the line. It just hasn't been unearthed. And then Arsenal go, well, fine, we'll start doing it to West Ham, and then we'll start trying to do it to Man United. And it just becomes pathetic. Like, it's football, right? Like, who cares? Let's be honest. So us signing Jermaine Defoe didn't make the end. I mean, it didn't mean that we went and won 6 Premier League titles back to back because of it. Like, who cares?
But playing devil's advocate, yes, maybe not. But what is what you're saying there, that you are allowed to cheat in essence as long as it doesn't mean you win titles?
But no, it's not. It's not about that. The point is if for example, if this was something, let's use a great example. This comes out that we used an unlicensed agents to sign Van der Ven. Fine. Listen, they can do whatever they go. Do you know what? They come up, boom, this is it. You're getting a points deduction or a fine or whatever. Fine. We're talking about 2008 here. How silly does it go? What if someone goes, well, do you know what? Like the signing for Man United to sign Eric Cantona, blah, blah, blah. Well, there was something dodgy going on there. Let's do Man United in with points deduction now. Like, where does the cutoff become? When does it just become stupid?
Perchy, fans are ridiculous, right? Manchester City are being accused of armed robbery. Spurs are being accused of vandalising a telephone box. Right, both of them relegated.
Yeah. Relegated. That's exactly it.
Sorry, has Stell been swallowing his analogies today? Like, I don't know.
Just sitting there thinking about it.
Spurs stole a Mars bar when they were at school. The only thing I ever stole, by the way, when I was at school was once a Mars bar. How bad is that?
I know. See, if that's the context of it, Savin, now you're going to get done by the YouTubers now. So the YouTubers are going to go up
when I was about 12.
Because you stole a Mars bar when you were a kid. This is to bring it back to a bit of seriousness in the sense of it. This is where do we go? Enough is enough. Look, because my point being is all it takes now is other clubs to go, do you know what? Let's just find it. And all what happens is Premier League leagues and stuff get decided in courtrooms. It's not how it works. We're football fans, right? Like, I don't want.
But does it? Let me broaden this conversation then. So obviously we've got the Defoe piece, but obviously when we're talking about this, Man City are in it, Chelsea are in it, Everton are in it. That's what we know of at the moment. At the moment, as far as I'm aware, no one else at the moment is doing anything naughty or hasn't, to our knowledge. How far do you think they go, guys, with disciplinary? Because I was having this chat yesterday on the football terrace. We're having this chat about disciplinary. How far do people go with it? Because, look, you get silly fans that are charged that go, oh, my God, just relegate everybody to the conference and blah, blah, blah. And one of the points I brought up was, that's all well and good saying that, but what about the human element of it? What about all the employees at Chelsea and Man City that they have, like hundreds, thousands of employees that you just suddenly relegate them to being a conference team? Now they've all lost their jobs. What do you do then? Like the conversation still was about, do you just remove their titles? Do you give them to somebody else? And then it was like, well, hang on. If you give the title to someone else, and the example was, okay, do you give last season's, if Man City are guilty, do you give last season's title to Arsenal? Then the team in fifth are going to say, well, hang on, we should have been fourth then, so we've lost out on Champions League money. Who pays us? It's mad, right? Surely there just needs to be like a 30-point fine and you move on or something.
The rules don't care about the fans. The rules have never been set up about the fans. I'll give you an example. So in my industry, which is below elite level Premier League, if your club is charged and it affects members of your club, then your members will be aware how your club runs its business, and it's down to your members. So in the Premier League case, members being sponsors, fans, staff, it's down to your members to decide, is that the kind of organization you want to stay a part of? So therefore, the rules are designed to allow members to leave and go to another club, which is difficult for fans, but maybe easier for staff. And for players going forward, the players want to now go to that club knowing what they're like. Also, it could force members to demand a change of ownership so that the club is run properly. So the rules don't care about the fans. The rules just care about punishing the entity, the club as a whole, and then change will come off the back of that. What I'll also add is that with Spurs and our situation, I think we also need to look at, I don't really want to say it, but if Harry Redknapp was part of this process, who's got a habit of moving Defoe to whatever club he goes to, you know, that might need to be looked at as well. I think that I personally think this is happening because
so Stell's just implicated West Ham, Portsmouth, Sunderland, Rangers, like anywhere Jermaine Defoe's played, Charlton when he was a kid, every one of them are going to be looked at.